Welcome to Puhl FAQ, where we answer some of the questions we hear most often from trim collection system owners. Here to answer today's question is GF Puhl's Director of Sales, Greg Baum.
So you have an existing dust and trim collection system and have just been approved to add or move equipment, but your project doesn't have enough money for a trim collection system. So your boss says, do what you can to save money and make the budget. So your first instinct is what any reasonable person would think. Either do the ductwork yourself or call a local HVAC contractor to come in and make the changes. Is this a good idea? Well, it depends on who you ask. The National Fire Protection Association advises against do-it-yourself ductwork projects. NFPA 654.4.5 states that systems conveying combustible particulate solids shall be designed by and installed under the supervision of qualified engineers who are knowledgeable about these systems and their associated hazards. Since a trim system conveys combustible dust, any changes to the ductwork have to be engineered so that the combustible dust and material don't accumulate in any one section of the duct. This is important because duct fires are relatively easy to start and very hard to contain once started. Many times, the ductwork is in the ceiling and there are no access points, or the ductwork is on the roof and no one notices until it's too late. The NFPA regulations speak to this in Section 7, where it says that ductwork should be sized to provide air volume and velocity necessary to keep the duct interior free of residual material. They also specify that the ductwork should be inspected once per year for accumulations. Once started, a duct fire can progress quickly. Imagine a pile of leaves with a fire on one edge of the pile with a leaf blower blowing on the flames. It makes a very big fire very fast. And to add to the problem of a fire in the ductwork, you can't always get water on the fire where it's located. It's often near the ceiling, which can easily transform into a roof fire. And from there, the fire can spread across your building in a matter of minutes. Fire hazards aren't the only reason to steer clear of do-it-yourself ductwork changes. Another reason has to do with your bottom line. The issue is performance of the duct system. By not optimizing the distribution of the suction and matching the blower to what is needed, you can be wasting more money in electric power usage in just a couple of months versus what you save by designing and installing the ductwork yourself. Radial blade blowers convey air and material based on the laws of physics. Of particular interest is the fan law that states for a given blower, the power required is proportional to the cube of the shaft speed. So if you miss the ductwork design by only a few feet, and you have to speed the blower up just 50 RPMs, you can be in effect using a lot more electricity all year, every year, than you saved in the beginning. In the average electric cost per kilowatt hour state in the USA, 1 horsepower costs about $500 per year. If you're thinking about calling your local HVAC contractor to do the job, you may want to think again. Moving materials such as scrap or dust through a duct system is not the same as moving air-conditioned air. The conveying speeds for HVAC system and the duct specifications such as gauge, elbow radius, duct supports, and connections are all very different versus moving material. You're always better off working with a qualified engineer who specializes in moving material through ductwork, not just moving air. Consider the implications for your power bill. In the average electric cost per kilowatt hour state in the USA, 1 horsepower costs about $500 per year. Missing the duct design can easily cause you to have to run a blower 10 or more horsepower above the optimal design. Inexperienced operators using do-it-yourself design for ductwork changes typically miss the optimum design by 10 to 50 horsepower on each system. Missing low means your system plugs up. Missing high means profits drain off in the form of a higher electric bill. Sometimes do-it-yourself projects are well worth it. But when combustible dust is involved and profitability is at risk, DIY just isn't worth it. Call a qualified engineer.
For more information about trim collection systems, contact GF Puhl at 615-230-9500 or visit gfpuhl.com.